All right, I think that's better. All right, welcome, good morning. Happy Saturday. Let's go ahead and get going. So let's start on our backs. So let's start feet together. Bring those knees a little bit wider. Sorry, I can't read you. It's good. Okay, perfect. All right. So feet together. Feet together, knees wider. Closing down those eyes. Resting one hand on the stomach, one hand can rest on the chest. And just start to breathe in and out through the nose. If this is a little bit too intense, you can always just bring those knees so they're parallel to each other, just facing up. That's fine too. This kind of depends on how fast we want to get into the stretches this morning. You're just focusing on that rise and fall of the chest, of the belly. Trying to draw in a little bit more air to that lowest part of the lungs. Big expansion through that rib cage. And then exhaling that breath out. A couple more times, just like that. Big breath in. And exhale it out. Really slowing down that exhale. Okay, now draw those knees together. We're going to stack those knees right over the hips. Shins will be parallel to the ground. So let's start with a little core warm up. So those arms can just be down by your sides. Let's extend that right leg out. So that heel is going to hover right above the ground. That low back is flat. Bring it back to center, and then we'll switch sides. So extending that left leg out. So get that heel as close to the ground as you can. Bring it back to center. So again, over to the right, center, to the left, and center. Let's go one more time each way. We're going to hold. So right leg is just lifted. Press through that heel. And bring it back to center. Go to the other side. Left leg extends out. And low back presses down. Good. Bring it back to center. Now let's add in those arms. So reach the arms up. As that left or the right leg extends out, that left arm's going to reach up overhead. Bring it back up and then switch. So it's the left leg extends down, right arm reaches overhead. Bring it back to center. So let's go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Go and hug those knees and just give them a little rock from side to side. And now lower those feet down and press into those heels. Just bridge those hips up and keep that core tight, scooping that tailbone up, drawing that rib cage down. Got one more breath. And then lower those hips down. Bring those arms out to the T. Then you can just windshield wiper those knees from side to side. Once you've evened it out, bring those knees back up. Let's cross that right ankle over. And we'll draw those knees over to that right side. So a little bit of a stretch, a little bit of a twist. Good, bring it back to center. Let's switch sides, cross that left ankle over, then drop the knees over to that left side. And then bring those knees back up. Go ahead and uncross it. Let's hug the knees, rock forward and back. Go ahead and sit up nice and tall. Then cross those ankles. We're going to reach those arms up nice and tall. Exhale, let's twist it over to that right side. Good. Inhale, bring it back to center, reach it up. And then exhale it to the other side. Again, tall on that inhale. Exhale, twist. Good, bring it back to center. And then go ahead and make your way onto those hands and knees. So spread those fingers out, press into the palms. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone as we look up. Exhale, we'll round the spine, press the shoulder blades away, draw that belly up and in. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the chest, lift the tailbone. Exhale, round. Inhale, lift and lengthen. Good, exhale, round. And now bring it to neutral. We're gonna send that right leg back, left arm's gonna reach forward. So same idea that we did on our back. Exhale, curl it in, draw that elbow to the knee. Inhale, reach it out. Exhale, curl it in. Inhale, reach. Exhale, curl. Inhale, reach. 2 more, curl it in. Reach it out, curl it in. Reach it out, lower that hand, lower the knee. Other side, we're gonna send that left leg back, right arm reaches forward. Curl it in. Inhale, reach, and curl. Reach, curl, reach. Last time, curl it in. Reach it out and lower that hand down. Lower that knee down. Okay. From here, go ahead and step it back to a plank. And so squeeze those legs together. The chest pulls forward, gripping those fingertips into the mat and then pushing the knuckle of the pointer finger into the mat. Let's hold it for 2 more breaths. And then exhale, send those hips up to the sky, that first downward facing dog. If you need to pedal those feet out a little, you can. Sway those hips. And then we'll come onto the toes. Bend those knees, step those feet, top of the mat. Inhale the half lift. Exhale, fold. And bend into those knees. Go ahead and rise up to standing. Reach it up nice and tall. Let's go that side bend over to that right side. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale to the other side. Inhale, reach it back up. Draw those elbows down. Interlace those fingers behind the back. Open up that chest. And then keep a slight bend in those knees. Press those hips back as we fold. So maybe we just go to a 90-degree bend with those hips with that back nice and flat. And you can bend those knees as much as you need to. And exhale, maybe we fold a little bit deeper. And then we'll release those hands down. Just let that head hang nice and heavy. Good, now bend into those knees, flatten out that back. Go ahead and rise back up to standing. You can reach it up tall, side bend over to the right. Inhale it up, over to the left. Inhale, reach it up, elbows down, interlace the fingers, open up that chest. Bend into those knees as we fold. Lengthen out, and then we'll release. Plant the hands down, step those feet back to our plank. Lower down. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips up to the sky, downward facing dog. And let's go through that one more time. Come on to the toes. Step or hop those feet, top of the mat. Half lift on the inhale. Exhale, fold. Good. Inhale, rise. Side bend to the right. Inhale it back up to the left. Inhale it back up and bring those hands down. Interlace the fingers, open that chest. Exhale, fold. Flat back and release. Plant those hands down. Step it back to our plank. Lower. Inhale, lift. And exhaling those hips to the sky, down dog. Okay, now bring those toes together. We're gonna inhale that right leg up high. Curl that knee to the nose. Good. So we're hugging that thigh up towards the chest. Hold. So we're in that plank position. Send that leg back up. And exhale, curl that knee and step that foot through. Let's go ahead and stay on the back toes. Inhale, reach those arms up overhead. Sink into that front knee. Now just hold it here. Big stretch through that left hip flexor. Good, one more breath. And we're gonna slowly, slowly, slowly lower it all the way down to the ground. Now we're gonna straighten that front leg as we pull the toes back, half splits. Okay, now we'll rebend into that knee. Plant that left hand, twist, right arm reaches up. And we'll lower that hand down. Go ahead and send that leg back to our down dog. Switching sides. So inhaling that left leg up. Exhale, curl that knee to the nose. Inhale, send it back up. Exhale, curl it in. Stepping that foot through. Again, we're going to stay on the back toes. Inhaling those arms up into that lunge. Hold it here. And now start to slowly lower down. And now we're going to straighten that front leg. Pull those toes back into that half splits. And let's rebend into that knee. Plant that right hand, twisting. Left arm reaches up. And lower that hand down. Go and step it back. We'll go to a plank this time. We'll move through that vinyasa. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good, now come onto this, or no, feet together. Lifting that right leg up. Exhale, curl that knee to the nose. Pause. Inhale it back up. Exhale, curl it in. Step that foot through, back heel stays up. Reach those arms up overhead. We're gonna add in a twist. So left hand's gonna reach forward, right arm reaches back, sink a little deeper into that front knee. Just hold it right here. Okay, now reach those arms back up. Now we'll slowly lower it down. Yeah, hold it here. A little more stretch to that hip flexor. And now we'll straighten that front leg as we fold, half splits. Now rebend into that front knee, into more of a lunge. We'll twist it. Now, if you want, start to bend that back knee. Maybe you just start here, or maybe we can reach back, grab onto that foot, big stretch through that quad. Good, now we'll release that hand down, release that foot, step it back down, dog. We'll go to the other side, inhaling that left leg up. Curl that knee to the nose. Inhale it back up and curl it in, stepping that foot through. Then we'll rise on up to our high crescent lunge. Sink into that front knee. Now we're going to twist. Right hand will reach forward. Left arm reaches back. Hold it here. And now reach those arms back up. Slowly lower it down. Get a hold here in this lunge. Pressing the hips forward, holding that rib cage down. And now we'll lower those hands down, straighten out front leg, those half splits. And now we'll rebend into that front knee. So we'll plant that right hand, twisting, left arm reaches up. Now your choice, if you start to bend that back knee, maybe reaching for that foot. And one more breath. And go ahead and release. Plant the hand, step it back to our plank, moving into or through a vinyasa. And exhaling those hips up and back, downward facing dog. Good. Now let's step those feet behind the hands, so a little bit wider. We can turn those toes out a few degrees, heels in, sink those hips down. Let's just hold this squat. So if the hips are a little bit tighter, you might be sitting up a little bit higher. Okay. The more we grip those toes, drive the feet out, drive the knees out, use those glutes a little bit more, you might find that those hips can sink down a little bit lower. Also those ankles, as those ankles kind of stretch out a little bit more, you can get a little bit more mobility. Let's go for 3, 2, And one. Just go ahead and straighten those legs. Bring those feet parallel to each other as we fold. Just letting the head, the arms hang nice and heavy. Now we're going to keep that right foot forward. We're going to take a big step back with that left leg. Now you might want to heel toe walk that right foot out just a few degrees. You can turn the toes out a little bit. We'll add in a twist. So twist reaching the right arm up. And then we'll lower that hand down, maybe lowering that forearm down towards the mat. So maybe both forearms lower down, that chest can pull forward. That core stays nice and tight. And then come on up to those hands. Let's go ahead and straighten that front leg again. Just pull the toes back, half splits. And now let's rebend into that knee. Step both feet to the front of the mat, into that forward fold. And then we'll go to the other side. Big step back with that right foot. Lower that knee down. Heel toe walk that left foot to edge of the mat. Chest pulls forward. Keep that core tight. And let that left knee open up a little bit wider, but don't let the hips shift over. Just let that knee move. Now plant that right hand, twisting. Left arm reaches up. And then lower your head down. Lower down onto those forearms. Chest is pulling forward. Breathe here. And then come back to those hands. Straighten that front leg, pull those toes back. And now rebend into that knee. Go ahead and plant the hands. Let's step it back to a down dog. Just pause here, down dog, pedaling those feet, or maybe stillness is what you need. And now let's go ahead and lower down to our knees. We'll find a seat. All right, so we're gonna go into that full pigeon, which might be a lot for this morning. So I'll show you the full expression of it, and then I'll show you the modification. So if you want to mirror me, your right foot will be down. Your left foot comes up over the top, on top of that knee. So I like to, well, you want to flex your foot, okay? Bring it pretty high up there. So again, even if you're, like I said, your hips might be a little bit tight. If that knee is super high, that's okay. Okay, just sit it tall here, and that knee might start to soften down. Now, I don't know if you guys can really tell, but I don't really want you to be in this position where the ankle is just really extended. Okay, it's not great on those ankles, especially if you have a tendency of rolling your ankles. You really want to be aware of that. Okay, so this is where we're working on. So hands out to the side and just leaning it forward. Again, big stretch to the hip. If that is not happening, just go into that cross-legged position, and then you can walk those hands forward. That away, okay? So wherever you're at, just focusing on that breath, holding it here for just a little bit longer. Yeah, now just wherever you're at, whatever position you're at, come back up. So sitting tall, we're going to twist it over to, let's go to your left side first. And then center, over to that other side. And now bring it back to center. We're going to switch legs. And make sure we're really flexing that foot. Bring that knee up pretty high. My bottom of my foot is almost past my thigh. And sit tall. And then start to fold it forward again. You can just sit in that cross-legged position too. I think we're bringing it on up, sit tall. Let's twist it over to your left side to start. Go center and to the other side. Bring it back to center. I go ahead and uncross those legs. Let's go ahead and just extend them out. Okay, so flexing those feet, a slight bend in those knees, reaching those arms up, and then with that really flat back, a fold. So maybe reaching for the big toes, to the outside edges of the feet. Sit up a little bit taller, and then fold. So try and keep that nice flat low back. So you might have to bend those knees a little bit more, or maybe you're all the way up here, reaching just for those shins. That's fine too. So one more breath with that really tall spine. And then exhale, let's fold round into it just for a moment. Good, then go ahead and bring it back up. And shake those legs out. Now we're gonna do a little counterbalance here. So I like to bring my hands, so I'm gonna bring about a foot behind me, maybe 6 inches. I like to turn my hands kind of, my fingers out towards the sides. Then into those knees, open up through that chest first. So if you're squeezing your shoulder blades together, and then from here, start to lift those hips up. Now you can kind of play around, see what works better for your hands. Good. One more breath, lift, squeeze your butt, lift those hips. And lower it back down. Let's just find that cross-legged position. Hands on the knees, closing down those eyes, just sitting tall. Just focusing on the breath for just a few moments. And then blinking, open those eyes. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Have a great weekend. And I will see you guys back here next week.